Hey, good morning. Yeah, Chen says, hey, feeling good about the Aussie dollar. Yeah, nice. Good job. Please post your playlist. I do. It's in the description below. But I'll post it again. You guys ready to go? We have 55 votes on the poll. So I guess we should start, huh? So welcome to Forex.Today, the YouTube community of more than 18,000 foreign exchange traders. So let's go. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Therefore, always stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Ni hao ma. Hello, my name is Wayne McDonald. I'm a currency trader. Been doing this almost 20 years, and I'm here today to share my experience with you, good, bad, and the ugly, with the overriding goal of helping you put together trade plans using technical analysis, fundamental analysis, analysis of central banking policy, macroeconomics, and all that kind of stuff to form a bias. Hey, dude, I got an email and I'll read it to you. Wayne, your bias is on full display. Yeah, that's what I do every day. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. Yes. Yeah, I'm opinionated. And then I share with you why I'm opinionated. You don't have to agree. In fact, I don't even need you to agree. I don't want you to agree. I want you to have another opinion and be able to share it too. So cool, but I wouldn't ridicule you over it. It's the whole point, right? The worst thing is two people that just talk and agree and then they just keep talking. I'm like, why are we still talking about this? But anyways, so ask questions, get involved, and I will do my best to address your questions, your concerns, your comments. Check the negativity at the door. Treat each other with dignity and respect. That should be good. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for clicking the thumbs up button. Thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you for leaving comments under the recordings. All of that helps with the YouTube algo, although it does a very poor job of promoting this channel. But I do my best every single day to provide you with value. Some days are better than others, but I try my best every single day. So hopefully that's worth a thumbs up. If you're looking for a broker, I'll solve it. Check out my hook while my DJ revolves it. No, if you're looking for a foreign exchange broker, Trader's Way has earned my loyalty and respect. Maybe you should give them an opportunity to earn yours. You start that relationship by visiting tradersway.com, opening up a demo. Doesn't hurt. It's free. It's easy. It's fast. When you're in the back office, you'll say, oh, wow, it's really clean and organized. Great. Download MT4, MT5, C-Trader, whatever. I have a variable account. I like variable accounts. I've always used variable accounts, so I always go for the VAR. You might want a fixed spread if you're a scalper, but that's pretty rare. A lot of people choose ECN because they think it's cheaper, but it's not cheaper. Instead of soft dollars, it's hard dollars, whatever. So if that makes you happy, do the ECN account. Okay. But anyways, you'll find out that the execution speed is fast. The spreads are narrow. The swaps are huge. Customer service is world class. and the employees and stakeholders of Traders Way are above average good looking and cool. So maybe that's good. Tradersway.com. Cool. Oh, I'm over here. Oh, sorry. All right. So I'll let you answer the poll. We have 76 votes now. I just want to read this email. So yesterday I went on a political rant. I don't know why. I guess of just too many hours in front of the chart. It's amazing. By Monday morning, I've already spent, 8 hours in front of the chart. So anyways, I mentioned something about Afghanistan and the withdrawal from Afghanistan being sort of a screw up by President Biden. And I was shocked at how bad he handled the press conference. So anyways, so someone sent me an email and said something about Trump signing a deal, and that, I guess, was bad. So, he criticized me for having a bias. It was on full display. I'm like, that's what I do every day, my bias, and I back it up with an opinion. So my opinion was based on watching the press conference, and it was bizarre. It was just bizarre. Now, I'm not Republican. I can't even vote. So Trump was bizarre in a lot of press conferences, whatever. So the second one was, I guess, an argument that I said, I don't know what the argument is, but apparently it says he sees that I love war and killing innocent folks. I like making people. I like making love. I've never murdered anybody, nor have I condoned murdering somebody. But in this sort of this idea of, I think I called it a clusterfuck of a withdrawal. That was the first comment was my view of the press conference and Biden being really strange. And I explained why that was my opinion. By the way, that's my opinion. I thought it was strange. That was that. I also, as far as the exit, I contacted people I know who spent years and years and years fighting in Afghanistan. And they thought it was a really messed up exit too. So, but do I love war and killing innocent folk? No. And then lastly, on Obamacare, he's like, are you for real? I don't know what you're talking about. Read this article and then I'll learn something. No, I actually went through the process. I actually have a company, and as a small business, I have challenges getting healthcare for my wife and my children, and I spend a lot of money, thousands of dollars, right? A month. So I was explaining how we had to go through the process probably about 5 times, spend more money and get crappy insurance. Pathetically crappy, very expensive, but the website broke down 3, 4, 5 times. The process was like pulling your own teeth. I know many small business owners and they went through the whole process. I know other people that went through the process, and it was just a ginormous failure of epic proportion. But that's my opinion. That actually happened to me. So anyways, this person's done watching with me, and if I read these articles, I'll learn something. So my bias came from actually trying to sign up for Obamacare. It was a nightmare. I don't love war and killing people, but I did talk to the people that went to war and killed people, and they were disappointed. And then lastly, Trump versus Biden, that my bias is fully on display, that I guess I'm a Trump lover. But I actually watched the press conference with Biden, and it was weird. But I saw Trump do press conferences, and it was weird. But that was the first real full press conference I ever saw Biden do, and it was strange. So all of that is my bias. That is true. I am definitely biased. I'm definitely opinionated. But that's the whole point, in my humble opinion. So there you go. So anyways, thanks for the email. And I lost him as a subscriber. All right, cool. So let's move on.com. Let's do the poll. Boom. Morena's like free speech. No, I just thought it was an interesting argument. Like I should read the article on Obamacare, and well, no, I actually did it. Why would I read an article? I'm talking about something that happened to me personally, right? So anyways, it's kind of strange, but whatever. All right, 80 votes. Hey, good job, everybody. That's really cool. That's cool. Okay, thank you. That's a lot of votes. I appreciate that. All right, so what's on your mind? 69% want dollar, 16 yen. That's it, 16. That's interesting. 10% oil, 3% Bitcoin. Wow, crypto is really dropping off the face of the earth, at least as far as the following here at Forex.Today. And you're like, hey man, it's Forex.Today, not Crypto.Today. But still, I still think that's interesting. The returns have been quite good. I read a statistic where the volatility of the dollar versus the euro is something like 6% annually, and Bitcoin versus US dollar, remember, euro is 6%, is 550%. So there's some volatility there, but look, there's some good trades on Bitcoin. I didn't put gold because it only lets me put that many number. I put more Morena, but it won't let me. It's just not possible. So what is it, 4? I can put 4. I can't put 5. I can't put 8. But I would put gold there. It was sort of a toss-up. Okay. But I'll put that next time. You're right. Instead of Bitcoin, maybe I'll put gold. Okay. Yeah. So anyways. Okay, cool. Okay, good. So I guess we got to start with some dollar pairs. If you got a dollar, I'll solve it. All right, so let me go over here first and just see strong or weak. And it's nicely weak. And yen has been weak, and now is sort of maybe some profit taking on this one. Aussie's come down, which sucks. Kiwi was up and now down. CAD mixed. Swissy's strong. Once again, sort of opposite of these two, which is, again, unique compared to historic value. But I should probably get past my old biases, because in the old days, Swissy and yen and dollar would all be weak, but that hasn't been true for probably 2 years now. So I should probably grow up, right? And then look, not good trading conditions, not good, unless you're selling off the top, but selling what? Dollar's weak, Aussie's weak. Dollar's weak, pound's weak. Okay? CAD's weak. I mean, so like, the only thing to buy is Swiss franc, but I'm not in the business of buying Swiss franc. But I am in the business of selling dollar. So what this is telling me, and let me say it now in plain English, is the opportunities right now are probably mediocre, but maybe they'll come back to life. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't have bad blood for that person. Like, I'm not calling them out by name and all that. Like, it's not a hate war. We're not at war or anything like that. But you sent me sent me 3 articles, and I'm like, but these are all. I don't read those type of articles. I don't sit and watch Fox or CNN, although CNN is probably behind me. But I do know people that do that, sit there all day, and they're very, very liberal. They're very, very conservative, and they go on rants like I went on yesterday. And after a while, it's tiring, as you guys were tired of my rant too, right? So but I'm not that dude. I'm just not that dude. I just don't care that much, right? I'm an only child. I'm selfish. I care about me. I care about my family, and after that, I don't care about your football team, right? I don't care which college you went to. I don't care who your favorite NASCAR driver is. I don't care who you voted for. Like, I just don't. I'm selfish, right? Like, I just don't care. But let's talk about business, and let's talk about entrepreneurialism, and let's talk about, that kind of stuff. So anyway, so I'm just truly not that guy that goes typically on political rants, and it's not the typical one where I'm pre-biases. I will give you my opinion, but I'll also tell you why. And it's very rarely because I watched 27 hours straight of Fox Business, and I just can't stand by it. I'm just telling you, I watched this press conference and it was strange. That's it. That's my opinion. It was a strange press conference. Cool. Great. All right. So anyways, trying to step this up, right? Trying to step it up. Notice the compression, however. Okay. Notice the compression of this was a big move and this was a much smaller move. And we got that in the pivot target. Notice that. Isn't that great? And now the question is, will we get back up there and challenge 38? It's looking hard to deal with, right? Okay. Okay. Yeah, well, Steve and Roderick, we all have our opinions. I think this person was just adamantly the opposite, which is fine. It's fine. But I think unsubscribing because of that, anyways. All right. So anyways, this is the area that I'm now concerned with, right? Kind of keeping it higher highs and higher lows, but this is typically bad. Okay? Because this is a reverse fib. So often I talk about fib wars. It's because of that. So a bear might be selling it off the top. So what I need to do is just be aware of it. I'm not going to set it up like this, but I need to be aware of it. If this doesn't start heading up, and really it's a Fibonacci of the Fibonacci, right? If this doesn't head up soon, I would need to move my stops closer. Okay. But you guys know my bias. I share my bias. That's the whole point of these webinars. You don't have to have the same bias, but you know I'm bullish on this. How can you tell? Because I drew that for you. Okay. It's not bad. Greg says, yeah, those who have wrong opinions, will have a tough time being a good trader. Isn't that interesting, Greg? And I know Greg's been doing this for decades, right? So, I see that point of view, and it's true. It's really interesting where traders will need to struggle to maintain bias and reality, where you can't become the bias, right? So you have to be completely biased based on your homework. This is what you think is going to happen. You believe pound will go higher, and I can give you 9 reasons why, but not because you watched TV or you read an article. That's BS. If you're sitting there reading Barron's magazine, or you have a subscription to the Motley Fool, and they're like, you should do this, so you go do that, then you're not a trader. And you're not a professional either, right? So instead, it's like, well, I read the central bank report, or I read the ISM report, or I went through GDP, and you have these opinions because you've done the work and the research. I want to see your firsthand research, not that you read an article or you watched somebody on TV. That's right. Okay. That's all. So now the next part of what I believe Greg is saying is there will be many times where you do all that work and you will be wrong. And you need to be, yes, biased, but you also have to have the kill switch I talked about yesterday. And then even on that, there's a point in time where you have to recognize that you've been wrong and maybe start trading the opposite of what you've been, but not quickly, but you need time. Where there are plenty of examples in human history of traders being so locked into their narrative that they trade the narrative and not reality, and there's no way out. They've essentially painted themselves into a corner. And as traders, that's very, very dangerous. In fact, it would be the end of your career. So it's tough. So yes, you got to have strong conviction because of your research. That we call that bias. The conviction is if market conditions haven't caught up to your research, then you have to have the patience and discipline to wait. Okay. But your research still may be wrong. And Ray Dalio is one of those guys where early in his hedge fund, he went on TV and everything and said there was going to be a debt crisis, and traded on that. Remember, traded. It hadn't happened yet, but traded towards that. And then there was a default. I think Mexico defaulted. And even though he bet that would happen, he also bet on what would happen as a consequence of that default. And of course, that would be bad. Well, but it was a turning point and it was actually good for the market. And he lost all his money very quickly. And maybe even his reputation because he went on TV dozens of times and went on, did all that kind of stuff and raised all this money. And the event happened and the opposite occurred. And instead of making a ton of money, he lost it all. He moved back into his parents' house or borrowed $5,000 from his dad or something because he didn't even have $5,000. He was trading millions and millions of dollars. So anyways, so he said right from there, he needed to be open-minded to know when he was wrong. And that is a message, whether it's coming from me or Ray Dalio, that is a message that you need to do your homework. You need to have bias. You need to have conviction for your bias, but you need to know when you're wrong. Okay? And I think that is all in Greg's message too, right? That it's about opinions and wrong opinions. Okay? Oh, right on, Ed. Yeah, I'm totally into that. Somebody was at the meetup in New York City and he's like, yeah, I bought your book used on Amazon and it showed up signed. And I'm like, oh, that can't be good. Somebody sold my book at like my signature didn't cause a premium on the book or anything. So I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, hanging out with you in Hong Kong, Ed, that sounds fantastic. Got to get that done. All right. So anyways, there's that. This is a challenge that you may almost, I'd say maybe it's 50-50 that this doesn't work out. But this stopping here bothers me. It bothers me a lot. So this dip ideally would head up, but this bothers me for sure. So I might end up buying this 12 hours from now down here, and it might make a lower low and then recover. I mean, this could be ugly, so just be careful, I guess. Put in a smaller trade or watch everything else. Maybe pound is just not as good as some of these other trades. Okay, cool. So let's see. How do you trade? Wayne, teach me how to day trade. Well, in the day trading course, we say buy here. Oh, that's how you trade. You're welcome. Okay, cool. That worked out nice. You should do that. Okay. This may have already occurred. We don't know. But some sort of form of that would be the next trade plan. Okay. Okay. Revelation says, Wayne, how's the MIT course going? I graduated as an A student, and then I went to Oxford and I did an algorithmic trading program at Oxford and completed that. So, yeah. Pete did the front run yesterday, and that's what we talked about. This was a trade plan yesterday. Buy it here, right? Remember? Look, right? Remember? It's nice. It's nice. It's nice. Okay? So now you have to wait for the pullback. If you're going to try to do price action instead of pivot points, Yeah, you might be about an hour late. Remember, I've taught you that this candle here, this sort of 7 to 7:30 period, is an important period in trading. And you can see, well, yeah, it came down so you could buy it. So a lot of amateur traders, they see the red and they sell. Instead, I would say you should see this, okay? And then you should see this. You should see this, which is the moving average. And instead, you should be buying down here, okay? Remember, bulls buy red candles. They don't buy green candles. Darko, 76% of open positions to sell. Where? What says that? No, can you reverse a Bitcoin transaction? No. Nope. It's done. It's written on the blockchain forever. With the hurricane happening, wouldn't the dollar index go up? I don't think it's that bad. Most of the United States is not in crisis. So you have to think about what size of the population. Also, Americans typically don't invest overseas. Other countries invest a lot overseas. Americans, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to get in trouble again, but my opinion as a foreigner living in America is that Americans know very little about what's outside their own border. They don't even know about Canada. Canada is a foreign planet. It's like they don't know anything about Canada. So you're like, hey man, I want to invest into, some foreign country, and they're like, wow. Just Americans just don't invest overseas. Now, maybe hedge funds and stuff, right? Now, I know I'm going to get in trouble for this. But anyways, so Americans invest into America. Okay? Americans invest into America, by and large. Much more sophisticated ones might buy a mutual fund that invests into China or Asia or something like that, okay? But by and large, they buy American companies on American stock exchanges and stuff like that. So, and they keep their money in American banks. So that when there's a natural disaster, and let's say everybody in Louisiana needs to bring money home, well, it's already home. It's in dollars. And if their bank gets wiped out, it's in Louisiana, it's okay because the bank is based out of, I don't know, North Carolina or something, right? So, so no, it's not the same. And look, non-Americans all agree with me on that one. No, it's just funny. But America is heavily invested into America. And their money is in America. And their bank is in America. Okay? I mean, look, it's a reserve currency, right? So, yeah, you don't start investing overseas until you're fully invested in the United States. Okay? So that's that. So buying your dip, you basically, if you like it this way, you got a plan A and a plan B for today. Okay? Or, well, for today, meaning based on what I expect to happen tomorrow. Okay? Kiwi's been doing quite well lately. Okay? Remember the big move? Here's the counter trend. Nice. Great. Okay? Look at the swing, guys. Straight out of the swing trading course. It's just like, it's unbelievable. And by the way, in the swing trading course, when you have a counter trend trade, what's the target? Mahai says, hey, is the 1 year period, is the 1 year deal for FX Bootcamp still on? No. And I think you mean for the swing trading group? No. Okay. Yeah, you guys back to the central pivot. You mean this one? Good thing that's in the training course, huh? Imagine you knew that here. Great. Okay, new weekly swing. Okay, does this monthly M2 matter? It's the best bullish buying pivot there is. Oh, look, we're up here. Of course we're up there. Okay. And how does this fit my seasonality play? Well, what I told you in February is to start being a bull right here. Well, that's pretty lucky. Now, the question is, do you see this as a change of trend? Okay. And if you've seen it as a change of trend, have you been buying dips? Okay, have you? And if you are a bull, maybe you're not buying dips, but would you like to? Will you? So how do you handle that? Well, one way is to do day trading. So yesterday, you would have logged in with me in Asia and said, oh, snap, look at that. Okay? Or, oh, snap, look at that. Okay? Okay? Or you bought it down here yesterday. Or you bought it down here the day before. And then you look at me and you say, well, Wayne, what are you trying to say? And I'm like, well, maybe you'll buy it here. And then typically what I hear is, well, how do I know it'll go up and not fall and take a loss? Well, you don't. What if it falls down here and you lose money? Yeah, you'll lose money. You should probably use a stop loss. Okay. So imagine if all you did was your job. Okay. How did this week turn out? Well, this is last week, I guess, right? And now tomorrow is what you're thinking. How do you guys feel about that? Okay. I will remind you that in February, I told you this was likely to happen now. Robin says, what's my thoughts on NFP? Doesn't matter. Okay. Now, we want a good number, but that's not going to change Fed policy. And a bad number will only confirm their dovishness. But the Fed meeting's more important than the NFP. But yeah, we want a good number. Mostly because we want people to go to work. I want people to be productive. That's all I care about. And if you've gone through my macro course, right, Robin, which I know you have, you know, I'm quite passionate about people's need to be productive. So I want people to be productive. Pin bar, huh? Pin bar. I'll have to Google that. I don't know anything about pin bars. I know buying at roll reversals. Okay. I was here for this. It was like 8:15 I think it was 8:15. I'm like, it wasn't the market open. I don't recall there being news. It just sort of like wham. And it was like, like if we had this on 5-minute candles, it was like 5-minute, 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 like nothing's happening. I'm sitting here for an hour, nothing's happening. By nothing, I mean 3 pips every 15 minutes, right? And then all of a sudden it was like wham. And 5 minutes later it was back. And I looked around and I'm like, huh. So it went like 3 pips, 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 30 pips, 30 pips. So anyways, it's just like, huh. And it just seemed, so I don't know what it was. China PMI, I didn't see it on the calendar, I guess, or maybe I looked and I didn't see it on the calendar, but okay, so maybe it was on the calendar, but it wasn't that time. But if it was, then okay, it just wasn't on the calendar that I was looking at. So anyways, and of course I was using the Forex.Today calendar. All right, so anyways, this is going well. Okay, so buying of the dips. If you recall, I drew this for you guys. Okay, remember? Yesterday we were here, so I said, maybe you want to buy it here. You see, it's not, you know, look, I drew it for you. Like, this is all foresight, not hindsight. So yesterday I drew this area, okay? All you had to do is be a bull. Now, of course, bulls don't know they're going to make money in that moment, but it became bullish. Great, cool. So this was bullish, okay? This front run was a bullish trade. And this is the higher high, higher low, roll reversal, price action trade. So again, simple price action. Okay, if you don't know price action, join FX Bootcamp, complete the price action course. I think it's, what, 3.5 hours just on price action? So now I'm wondering about this. It's not very elevated. Like, it wasn't a big breakout, but it was a breakout. So, you know, that would be ideal. Plan B would be this, but that could set us for a top, and I would be worried about that. Okay? FT9, I typically take the monthly over the daily. Daily is just price action. And once again, I don't really care about daily. I trade them, but do I actually care? Like somebody typed in earlier, it might have been you, FT9, right? Like, pivots are real, right? And that's good. It's good to have confidence in the tools that you're using. And saying such things reinforces, you know, subconsciously and emotionally that your tools work. And when you pull the trigger, you're uncertain. So you need to at least be certain that you're doing the right thing and then hope it works out. So like, pivots are real, but ultimately I don't really care about the pivot. So you could do something different. Let's do simple. Okay. Completely different setup. Okay. But you could use Fibonacci instead. Okay. And if you don't like Fibonacci because it's too subjective, I agree with you. That's why I don't use it a lot. But I get it. It's not that I don't use it. Okay. But riding these moving averages are, you know, another tool. Okay. Okay. Identifying support and resistance is also key because you have this up, buy, okay? And if it makes a higher high, what I do is I grab this and I drag that across. And that's price action. But someone else might say, oh, well, Wayne, if you measure here to here to here, that's a 50% Fibonacci retracement. Oh, good. I just bought it. So you bought it because it's a 50%. Great. I just bought it because it's a role reversal. Someone else might say, well, you know, if you had daily pivots, you'd recognize that this is a daily buy zone. Oh, good for you. Good. So you bought it because it's a pivot. I bought it because it was a role reversal. They bought it because it's a 50% fib. Great. Great. But yeah, the targets are very helpful. Yeah. You know, that's always the most difficult part of trading. I think once you guys learn how to trade properly, when you understand seasonality mixed in with price action, that's all you really need, right? Okay. So then the next part is, when do you get out? And that is a much more difficult question. Okay. You know, my memories of sweating bullets have to do with not knowing when the market was going to come down hard. Okay. That's the bigger issue always. So I say, okay, well, how do I try to explain some of this to myself? And I can say, oh, well, I can head up to here, then there'll be some profit taking, and then I'll buy a dip from that. Okay. So last week, this was the buy zone. Oops, let's do this in pink. Okay. Last week, this was a buy zone. This week, this was a buy zone. Did you guys buy it? Boom, it's gone. So between now and Monday, you will want to buy a dip. And currently it's estimated here. But this will move up as this moves up, and then if it comes back, it'll hold. And if it moves lower, it'll come down a bit. So right now, that's our best guess. That's all it is. That's it. It's not even a best guess. It's just a statistical number, right? It doesn't tell you how humans are going to behave if it pulls back to 18. So if I were me, I'd probably keep an eye on this. So what does that mean? As long as we're above that, I'm a buyer. If it does this, I'm not a buyer. Okay? You got to remember, I wasn't a buyer here, wasn't a buyer here, okay? And we're not even above this high yet. So many will argue that it's still bearish until we breach that. Okay? My issue is, if I expect somewhere in this period the market to go up, I need to kind of start buying some of these and be a market participant, not just an observer. Okay? So that maybe it has a chance of breaking out, because if you wait till then, you've given up, hundreds of pips. So, but once you're above that, your aggression should increase. Okay? You're winning. Barry's going to the Ritz in London in September. No, I can't travel to London yet. But Barry, if you're in Mayfair, so I'm going to say this is Mayfair. I believe the Ritz is here, and then you walk a half a block, and then you go down this alley, you walk half a block, and then there's JJ Cigars. That's where JJ Fox, right? Fox, I think it is. JJ Fox, that's where Churchill used to smoke his cigars. And then you walk down this half a block and you go down this half a block. And right here is the Oxford Club. And that's where I'll stay in London. So I like the Ritz. I'm a Ritz guy. And I've been to that Ritz. It was great. I was walking around Mayfair and I need to use a bathroom. I walk in the front door of the Ritz and there's literally a bodyguard keeping tourists out. And I whip out my card and I'm like, I'm a platinum member. And he's like, come on in, sir. And I washed up in a fabulous marble bathroom. I'm like, that's great. Great. So anyways, so when we do meet up, I'll just meet you there at JJ for cigars. See you there, Barry. And by the way, Barry's message is hidden. So if you're like, what's he talking about? It's a private message. All right. Cool. So anyways, you got to know, are you a buyer of a dip or not a buyer of a dip? Okay. That's it. So if you're a buyer of a dip, from this point of view, what I do is I typically do stuff like this, and then I change the time frame and double check it. Okay. Can you see? Right? So you can do your auto trading if you want. Okay, you can pull that out and you can say it's a 25-25 OCO. Okay. And you can go, it's not a good trade. It's late, but I'm just showing you. Okay. That's that. You should have a better entry than that, but that's how you do it. A lot of people sweat bullets over like, but what if it does this? And what if it, dude, what do you mean, what if? AR-15 says, hey, that'd be cool if you come to the UK. I love me in the UK. I just can't fly home is my problem. Because of COVID. Okie dokie, let's go back to the indices, check out where we are. Yeah, that yen, bringing it back. Profit taking, huh? Getting closer and closer to NFP. Okay, let's go here. It is what it is. You guys know, I think it's Goodfellas, right? He goes in to be made. And he's like, it is what it is. Nothing can be done. It is what it is. Nothing can be done. Cash says there was a 1 minute spike in Kiwi pairs in Asia. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was either, but I saw it and I took it. I think I took it. I took something because I thought they were all going to move, right? I thought it was a yen thing because I'm in Asia waiting for yens. The yens moved and it moved across the board, not just Kiwi, but definitely Kiwi. And then took the trade and then nothing came of it. Then they all came back down. I'm like, what? So it lied to me. That's how I look at those things. Like when I see stuff like that, I just like, dude, it's like a fish nibbled the hook, was on the hook for a few minutes and then got away. It's one of those things like, I don't take personal offense. The market lied to me for whatever reason that was. But Robin's like, yeah, then you get whacked, right? That's a good scene though, right? It's like, hey, nothing can be done. It is what it is. Nothing can be done. I still think of him, De Niro smashing the phone into the phone booth, right? Just pure frustration. Nothing can be done. Mohammed said, hey, but what I'm noticing is Asia's taking the moves for the day. Yeah, that's why I trade Asia. That's why I teach the Asian fade. That's why it's important to things like day trading. It's all in the course. Right? See, that's the thing, guys. It will take so long for you to stumble upon things that most people don't have that much time. They run out of time or they run out of money and they just move on to other things where you don't have to sit here for 20 years stumbling into like, oh, wow, you can trade Asia if you do it in a particular way. Dude, I took 20 years to figure it out. So I'll share. Let me take the course. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you did like it. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So, but then, so in that case, Mohammed, right? Then the next one is it's good to then discover that it makes sense, I guess, right? Right? Where you're like, oh yeah, it's oh yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, right? Because you still, right? Like I could lead you to water, but you take the drink, and then you're like, oh wow, this is quite refreshing. Okay, and so anyways. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, just looking around, nothing has really changed. You notice that? Like everything's fine. Everything's fine. Gold, maybe pausing here. So I got this here, right? So if I were a buyer of gold, my opportunity would be approaching pretty quickly. Okay. So you see the role reversal. You see the green zone, which is the Fibonacci area. I'll draw the psych level here. Okay. So that's the psych level. And now what? And let me get rid of this. This is from the old plan, which worked out perfectly, by the way. Okay, so now what? And then maybe you like Fibonacci. So you take peak to valley. And so you might just drag this into here. Okay. So maybe you call this area here. What do you think? Hmm? Barry says, Wayne, your course has taught me more than the other 5 courses I've taken by far. I do recommend the swing trading course for sure. Right on. Yeah, what is it? $382? Well, we can look at gold from a different point of view. I think I might have gold. No, I don't. I didn't want to mess that chart up, so let me just do here and switch one out to XAU. Okay. So, according to my statistical research, 1818 is the exact price a bear would sell. You see? You see that, guys? That is the best selling price for bears. I don't make that up. The first buying opportunity for bulls is down here at 1767. That's the first buying opportunity. The second one would be down here. Okay? So you got to be cautious right in here. So going back to the other one, be very cautious. Where were we? Commodities, right? You got to be very cautious. Let's go smaller time frame. Okay. You got to be very cautious because what this chart doesn't show you is the importance of this double top. Now, Cash said Cash was going to sell it higher. I wouldn't have expected it to go higher, but this is what I probably expect Cash to do next, is take that down. And we know the target is right here, right? It's going to match up with this. You took the double top. Nice trade. Dr. Age, Tony Hawk was a pro skater. Underground was the best. Yeah, do I have a Hawk? Yeah, check out. You want a Tony Hawk? I just happen to have a Tony Hawk right here. Beautiful, huh? Beautiful board. Did the grip tape myself. It's a vert board, but I put the bolts on upside down so I could ollie with it, even though it's a vert board. I did a lot of street skating. So I have a vert board with street wheels. That board is worth something like $2,000 now. Those are the original independent trucks. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and if you guys know your boards, let me show you from the side here. You see those white stripes? They're supposed to be black. So around, let's see, this board is from 1983. So around 1984, Powell Peralta came out with something called bonite to make the board stronger. And there were layers between the layers of wood of like plastic or rubber or something to make them stronger. But those are, it was black. When they rolled out bonite, you can see the black stripes in the board. And people look for that and they're like, oh, it's got bonite. That bonite is white because it was like a prototype. Yeah. Like, oh my God. Yeah. Very cool. Cash says, dude, you scored. Keep that. Hey, how about this? So that board, that board was from 83. And this is one from 84. Huh? Just look how clean it is. No scuffs. No stickers. Original trucks. Look at that. Almost mint condition. As close to mint condition you can get for a 30-year-old skateboard. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Look at the wheels. Nearly mint condition rip. Yeah. How much is that worth now, huh? That's a nice board. If you don't know anything about skateboarding and Powell Peralta and the history of the Bones Brigade and stuff, that is an epically important skateboard. Okay, like one of the most important skateboards ever manufactured in that era. You can't believe that's in your trade room. Right on, man. Right on. Yeah, no, like those are serious skateboards. If you guys know your boards, that Tony Hawk, dude, seriously, that's right when Tony Hawk, because he was a child compared to the older guys. And all of a sudden he started becoming quite good at doing half pipes. And so that was like one of the first legitimate, half pipe board. It wasn't a street board. It was a vert board. And they were just developing these things like, wait, there's a different board for street skating. There's a different board for freestyle. There's a different board for vert. There's a different board for launch. Yeah. So this was all just happening. And like, that's like key. And that ripped board is a big deal. Anyways. Yeah. Okay. I want it to go up, but we know we're sitting on retracement to 1776. So I'm going to mark this down and just say, support. Okay. It's really somewhere in here. They're going to catch up. Okay. Cool. Now, biddy. Okay. This is a nice trade. Very cool. So, bears are going to try this. Okay. Bulls want that. Bulls will also consider that. Okay. Those are the only trades. Those are the only things that exist. This is why, like, I think some people really make their trading complicated, where I'm like, those are the only 4 possibilities likely to happen in the next day or two. So I would use my technical analysis to try to identify which one it'll be. Yeah. Time for peso. Okay. Yeah, it's only good if you did the front run. Okay. So the front run lives here. Okay. The next one would be, look, here's the zone. But where in there are we going to get an opportunity? Why didn't I do that right? Okay. Where in here will we get the opportunity? I don't know. Okay. I think if you took a front run, you're holding your breath, which is fine. I don't think I would just be walking into this now. I guess, look, it's a little tricky, right? So maybe starting around 2020. So now I got to check and do a smaller time frame. And you can do, let's do day trading bearish, and zip in here. And yeah, not the second anyways. Right on, Cash. Thanks. Oh, Cash says you're Tony Alva from the 80s. So maybe mine's worth more than that. I haven't looked it up in a while. Raymond was sponsored? Really? Cool. Daryl says, well, you have that there just in case of ollies. Yeah. because the board is heavy. You have to understand, like it's a vert board. It's not a street board. So the board is heavy. So to be able to pull it off the ground, you need more than just the popping motion. And typically what you do is you lean forward and the right side of your, well, I'm goofy foot. So the right side of my right foot would scrape against the grip tape and lift the board up a little higher with friction. But the board is still too heavy for that. So what you do is you take the bolt out of your trucks and you reverse it. So the flat end is on the bottom, and then the bolts, the nuts, are actually sticking out. So now when you do it, you snap the tail down, jump in the air, kind of lift it up with your right foot, and it's grabbing the grip tape and the nuts from your truck. And now you can pull it up higher. But still, I couldn't do it very high because it was such a heavy board. That was the trick back in the day. Yeah. All right. So, we just went through an hour of trading. I mean, you have to understand it's already, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I probably have spent 6 hours already today in front of my charts. So I've seen everything 19 times. So sometimes it's hard to just keep the focus because this is, right? So anyways, take a look. What haven't I seen? Well, I think that's going to be it then, right? Yeah, that's too bad that came down. So these are coming down off the day trades, and that sucks because, yeah, I'm on some of these. All right, so let me remark these. So I got to get ready for tomorrow. So, okay, I got to get ready for tomorrow. I don't want it to come down to 80 again. Dude, like 80. So that hopefully we stay above 20, 80-20. I don't want this go all the way back down to 80. It's going to be, yeah. So anyways, I'm going to have to pay attention to that one. So that's Aussie. CAD. See, this is a red flag typically where the pivots don't rise. Okay. Yeah, one question is last day of August, maybe some profit taking. Yeah, but August typically isn't a profit month. So that might be somewhat true most of the time. Okay? So Katya's like, maybe it's profit taking. If it was September, October, November, December, in a typical trading month, I would probably agree with that. Because August is an entry month, not necessarily an end of month, that I don't think it's profit taking. I mean, it may be. I think sellers are getting their groove on. Buyers already had their op. And over the month of September, we're going to battle it out. Bulls will be bulls, bears will be bears. And by the end of September, we still have to get through NFP. We still have to get through the Fed meeting. And then we got our, back and forth. And it may be three more weeks until we get a really big bullish move. So that means it could be down for 3 weeks. It could be sideways for 3 weeks. It could be down and up or up and down. Like, there's still a lot of question marks going on. But is it profit taking? I think maybe it's 50-50 where some traders will take profit while others are actually selling. Like, I think this is a somewhat neutral move. So again, the best way I can explain it is that I think August, in particular the 3rd and 4th week of August, they're entries. Okay? They're entries. The first 3 weeks of August, nobody was trading. So people have just come back and they're just entering their trades. And where would they do it? Well, buyers will buy when they, right? And then bears will sell. And we already know where. So like, I don't know. Let's see if this will work. We'll take euro yen. Okay. And look how easy this is. Buy, 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 buy. And guess what? You should be buying it now, right? Okay. See? Cool. Great. So let's do it this way. Where would a bear sell? Okay. Well, we already know a bear will sell here. Okay. Is this profit taking? No, that's where a bear would sell. It's that simple. See, bulls would buy here. Okay. Then they'd buy here again. Then they would buy here again. Bulls don't buy here. That's where bears sell. So to use a different color, this is where bears sell. That's it. So is it profit taking? Well, some of these people could recognize that and get out. That's for sure. And what we don't know, okay, what we don't know is, will it do this? It might. But I've prepared you guys to be ready for a double bottom. So is it profit taking? I think in the beginning it's just bear selling. Why? Because that's what a bear would do. It's so simple. It's absolutely elementary. That's where a bear would sell. Right? And definitional. It's just that's where it is. If you don't know that, then you don't know how the market behaves. This doesn't tell us that it's going to go down. But by definition, that's where a bear would sell. You have to understand that. If you don't understand that, you're going to have a lot of problems. So now what? What's the only hope for a bull? A bull is going to buy a dip down in here somewhere. And if they fail, they're really going to back off, I think, hard. And the bears will truly have a better opportunity. But a bull's going to try this. And you know what? They probably won't succeed. Why? Because we know that that's a legitimate bearish sell zone. We also know in seasonality that I would not be shocked even in the least if we head all the way back down to 28. The thing is, how do you handle going from 30 back down to 28? Well, what you don't want to do is make money here, make money here, make money here, lose money, lose money, lose money, lose money. And then we go into October. And I prepared you. Everyone in the swing trading group has heard this 19 times. The worst case scenario is you feel like you got it made and then you give a whole bunch back. It breaks your spirit because you're already shopping for Lamborghinis. And then you lose. And you make bigger mistakes when you lose. You tiptoe into your winners and then you drop bombs on your losers, right? Because now you're like, oh man, I got to make it back. So you trade bigger. And you make all these mistakes on the way down, and then you give up. And you're like, right, I'm gonna start taking that real estate investing course. I'm so dejected. I'm gonna go to that Tony Robbins seminar and see if I can get good enough and strong enough again. I need to get my will back. No, you should just do your job better, right? And instead of being dejected and 30% less wealthy, really the big trades are probably going to start in this scenario down here. Okay? Help me, Tony! Help me! Oh! Dude, I actually saw Tony Robbins live once. No, I didn't go to his conference. He came to me, but whatever. And holy crap, it's scary. People go ape crazy. They love him. It's crazy. People are going, I'm looking around and people are like, wow, they're like worship. It's worship. It's crazy. And he knows it. He knows it. It's not his fault. People love him for doing it. He's like, I guess this is what I'll do. I used to sell infomercials. But this is where the big money is, and this is what people want from me. They don't want to buy the real estate course. They just want to like come to my thing, and I'll do my thing. And that's what he does. And whoa, and they love it. It's amazing. I'm like, wow, this guy is great. He's great, man. He's great. It's amazing. I don't want it, but it's obviously some people do. And he's really good at what he does, but I can see what he does. And I'm like, all right, well, but this is what they want. So anyways, if you can't figure it out in Forex, maybe Tony will help you. Right? Yeah, stay in this cult, right? Yeah, but it's crazy. Now, Marina says Rockstar. I felt more like preacher. I felt like it was worship. It was amazing. What can I say? It was totally amazing. You don't even know who it is? Yeah. He's an actor. Yeah, but he's really good at it. And I'm telling you, people want that from him. I think he realized infomercials and stuff, what he was trying to do. And he was making money selling real estate courses and stuff. And then people are like, man, I just love your speeches. You really motivate me. And he's like, what? Right? And then it just sort of expands. And he got so good at doing the live conferences and stuff. But like, I have a buddy that like spent something like $25,000 on a Tony Robbins course. I'm like, really? I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like, that is so good. I'm so happy for Tony. Right? Like, and it's great, man. He's really good. He's really good. And people get there and it's fascinating. For me as an entrepreneurial person, I just find it incredibly fascinating. Yeah. Sir John Seed. Yeah. Well, with a little bit of Joseph, right? I mean, maybe even more Joseph. I don't know. I think more Joseph seed. Okay. What's happening with gold? I just showed you that it's selling off of the selling price. The selling price is 1818. Okay? Okay? The buying price, the first one, is my plan A, basically at 18. So 1818 is the sell. 18 is the plan A. Plan B, I forget where it was. I don't know if it's this low or not, but maybe that's the plan B down here. So it's one of these situation, guys, right? Like, look, there's the sell, there's the buy, and I find a lot of people trade in here. Okay? Remember, if you average the price out, you're going to get 50%. Okay? That's the consensus. Investors don't trade the consensus. There's no alpha. You can't trade the average and produce better returns. So, A professional trader will only trade when it's overbought and they're a bear, or only buy when it's oversold and they're a bull. So if you find yourself trading in here, you're just average. You're the market. You have no alpha. You're only trading beta. And if one day you want to sell your abilities to somebody and you're going to charge 20%, well, if you're trading the beta, okay, you're going to be the beta minus 20%. Which means you'll underperform the market. So you can't trade the market. You can't trade the consensus. Okay? I want you to think about that. Yeah, Cash, I didn't think I was your guru. You have a Bubba? Is it a Bubba or a guru? All right, stock market has opened. Okay. There's the selling price. Mahatma? Gandhi? By the way, I was I like history. I was reading about Uganda. If I tell a Ugandan story, am I going to get into trouble? Am I going to get flamed? Are you going to unsubscribe if I talk about Ugandan history? Oh, is that right? Mahatma Gandhi? Okay, I guess Mahatma is a title too. Oh, okay. I didn't think that was his original name, but then I couldn't remember what it was. So anyways. Okay. All right. So Uganda. All right. There was a period in the 70s. So Marina, am I okay to talk about Uganda? Mahandris, that's right. Thank you. I'm going to wait for permission from Marina. I'm in, yes. Yes, that's who I'm going to talk about. But am I allowed to? Oh, everybody's so sensitive. Yeah, for sure. Go ahead, right? What happens in Africa stays in Africa, right? Anyways. All right. So Amin gets elected to power. Okay. And takes over Uganda in the 70s. I forget, early to mid 70s, I think. And it was a populist vote. And one of the things that he ran upon, and I say ran, you can run, but some AK-47s really helps people see your vision. But one of the visions he did have was a populist vision, and he blamed some of the poverty of Uganda at the time on Asian residents. And by Asian, I mean Indian and Pakistani. Although, so it would have been Pakistani at the time, right? So they blamed it on Asians who owned most of the stores. Okay? Great. Now, what does this have to do with, like, why would I talk about this? So one of the things we've been talking about in the past is the difference between demand inflation and supply inflation. Okay? And the Fed can influence demand by raising or lowering the cost of money or the value of money. Okay? And they're one and the same. They're just different charts. But the cost of money and the value of money are the same. So if money is cheap, well, it was cheap. Money is cheap. Okay? Great. But that only makes it easier for somebody to buy something. So if I just make you rich, like I give you $100 and you didn't need the $100, well, you're not going to save the $100. And if interest rates are zero, there's no incentive to save it. Why would you save it? And you don't need the money. But even if you needed money for groceries, you go to the grocery store and you spend it. And that money now circulates through the economy, which was the point. Or you go out and you buy a refrigerator, or you go karting, or, whatever. You're spending the money on a product or a service. And that creates demand. The Fed can try to create demand by influencing the amount of money available. Now, some people will get a lot extra money, but some people will get some extra money. Okay, I have a worker. I have a crew of workers. There's supposed to be 2 crews of workers coming this week, but I was talking to one. He buys houses to flip, but because he pays cash for houses. The worker in my backyard pays cash for houses. Another guy bought his teenage daughter turned 16, and he bought her a Ford Raptor. I'm like, dude, that's a $75,000 truck. He's got cash. Anyways, so look, when you got cash, when everyone's got cash, okay, it creates demand. If you don't have cash, you certainly don't go out and buy your teenage daughter a $75,000 pickup truck. Okay? Again, these are workers working in my yard or in my house. I'm like, wow, you're paying I wouldn't buy my kids a $75,000 car. Like, wow, you got that kind of money? Yeah, they do. All right, cool. So the Fed can work on demand. And now if they print too much money, if they create too much money, if they distribute too much money into the economy, you can get inflation. Why? Because everybody's rich. And the value of the currency gets so low that what used to cost you $100 now costs you $300. Okay? I'm not talking about Ugandan shillings yet. Okay? But I'm setting it up. The Fed can create too much cash, create inflation because everybody's rich, and now everything is expensive because demand is high. Okay? Great. Now, right now, inflation is through the roof. I paid 200% more for a fence I put in my yard. I'm paying 200% extra for things like lumber. Okay? I bought recently new furniture for my house, new appliances for my house, and I have to wait months and months and months and months and months and months. And they're certainly not on sale. Cool. Now what? Okay? So let's talk about what we have now. There's a shortage of fridges. Again, over 6 months ago, I bought a KitchenAid fridge. They haven't even made it yet. More than 6 months ago, I bought brand new furniture. Paid for it already. The money has left my account. I might not get it this year. Okay? What if this went on and on and on indefinitely? Okay. So this is where we go back to Uganda. So the Ugandan government kicked out the Indians and the Pakistanis that owned all the stores, or many of the stores. They were businessmen. They're Gupta, I guess, right? The business class. So they owned all the stores. So one of the first things that the Ugandan government did under Amin was kick out Indians and Pakistanis that owned all these businesses, and then gave them to Ugandans who didn't know anything about money, didn't know anything about balancing a bank account, didn't know anything about managing a supply chain, didn't know anything about running a business. And within 1 year, inflation was rampant and you could not buy anything. Everything was in shortage. Everything. You couldn't get anything. So inflation went up and up and up because if there was one package of toilet paper and you wanted to buy toilet paper, but there was 10,000 other people that also wanted to pay toilet paper now goes to the person with the most amount of money. How much are you willing to pay? 100? You're like, I'm not willing to pay 100. He is. And then he says, I'll take it for 100. Someone else says, I'll pay 200 for a pack of toilet paper. It's better than using your hand. It's better than using, newspaper. Okay. So what happened was inflation skyrocketed out of control. And it made me think of a similar situation that we have now, where we have inflation. It's transitory, right? It's transitory because eventually the businesses in America and in places like China are very, very well-run supply chains. Okay? Once they get past COVID, we will be able to hire normal levels of employment. We will be able to get regular, commodities for inputs, right? So we can buy iron ore and coal and steel and gold and silver and copper, and not at triple the prices, but at the normal prices. It will go back to normal, and the supply side will return. But now imagine in America, though, we had a much different economy, one, for whatever reason, more similar to the Ugandan one, where there just wasn't any supply. See, now it's all supply. You understand? Where the Fed can manage demand, but they can't manage supply. If there's nothing to buy, it doesn't matter how much money you have. So you have money, but there's nothing to spend it on. So you might as well take your money and get something for it. And you might say, well, the only thing to buy today is toilet paper. You got all this other money that you can't spend it on anyway, so the money is now worthless to you, but you'd really appreciate some toilet paper or whatever it is. And you're like, you know what? Boom, I'll pay $300 because I got $300, but there's nothing else to buy it with. I'll be wiping my butt with my money. So I might as well just trade it for toilet paper because it's better than the money. It does a better job. Okay? And so I want you to think about the supply side economics there. So I was studying that situation, and I thought it was really interesting. Right? I thought it was really interesting how quickly that happened, where you could come in and say, kick out all the businessmen. They're bad because they're rich, and they must be controlling everything, and that's why everyone else is poor. So they kick out all the businessmen, and then suddenly every single person is desperately poor. Okay? Prices went crazy. You can imagine 3,000% increases practically overnight. You want a bottle of Coke? Well, we have hardly any. And by the way, Americans, for the first time in many generations, saw this when COVID hit, and all of a sudden you could not buy toilet paper. Right? You could not buy toilet paper. You could not buy disinfectant. Unless you got some moolah. You can get it off the black market. Hey, I want some toilet paper. Oh, well, these normally cost you $8. Well, we want $30. Sure. Not a problem. Not a problem. You want toilet paper? It costs $30. I got tons of money. It's not a problem. Okay? It just goes to the next person with money, right? But what you don't want to be is in a situation where it is a supply chain issue. So, one of the things that leads to that is lack of reinvestment. And that's what happened to Venezuela, where they have more oil than Saudi Arabia, but they're desperately poor. How does that make sense? Well, they pulled money out of the oil business, spent it on themselves, but forgot to build better, more efficient, more modern oil equipment. And all of a sudden, they did that for 30 years, and now all the equipment's breaking. And now they're like, what do? We can't get oil out of the ground. How are we going to eat? Well, you can't. So now you're stuck. You're like, well, the stuff's broken, but we don't have any money. If we could pump oil, we'd have money again. So now you're in a conundrum. We don't have money to fix the broken machine, but to get the money to fix the broken machine, the machine can't be broken. Well, maybe you should have invested into it before it broke. Okay? And we're not talking about like they got unlucky. It went decades without reinvestment. It's amazing that you would make that kind of money and not have the best equipment in the world, the highest trained people in the world. Okay? So anyways, pretty amazing. Same thing happened in Russia, Libya, Mexico, So anyways, there's the history of the supply side. I want you to think maybe Uganda of you want to make sure your supply chain is working, that there are goods and services available. Otherwise, you get out of control economic conditions that may be nearly impossible to recover from. The Fed can't come in and save you. If there's no BMWs on the car lot, there's nothing the Fed can do about it. And by no, let's say there's 10. So if you want to buy a new BMW and there's only 10 of them on the lot, none of them are on sale. Okay? Okay? So Chris says, yeah, it's not racist. Yeah, I never even brought race into the thing. I mean, it's racist for Ugandans to say, we're going to kick out all the Indians. That's racist. Right? But I wasn't being racist. I was talking about history. So anyways, so there's the supply side. And I thought, that's really interesting. So that's what the Wayne do with his free time. So far on gold, plan A is working just tickety-boo. Lufli tuliumum. Right on. Take a look at it on a smaller time frame. Oh. Ooh. Huh? Hello. Miranda's like, it's normal in Africa for people to be kicked out of countries. Yeah. Well, anyways, the policies of Amin in Uganda in the 70s were quite disastrous for Uganda. And then didn't they get in a war with Zambia or not Zambia? Who was it? And it was like a 3-day war. So I don't know. I got to be careful because now, again, I'm not African, so I don't have the right to talk about African history. But anyways, I don't think it ended well for Uganda. I think it ended quite poorly. But I believe Amin is in Saudi Arabia, isn't he? Not Zambia. Tanzania. The Tanzanians, yeah. I think Tanzania went in and kicked some Ugandan butt. So anyways, whatever. I'm I'm just a simple Canadian boy. I don't know anything. Katya's like, not the Zambians. The Zambians couldn't fight anybody. Yeah, okay, all right. All right, so I guess I'm done. There's the history lesson of the day. There's the trade planning lesson of the day. It went from terribly bearish to super bullish. Oh, right on our line. Very cool. So thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for everything that you do. Peace on earth. May the pips be